let's talk about the Fourth Amendment. It's an idea that was literally forged in a revolution, but now it's facing challenges from a digital age nobody could have seen coming. This is the story of a simple promise, privacy from the government, and how that promise has been stretched, tested, and totally reshaped for over 200 years. It really all begins with these words right here. They lay out a core principle of American freedom. You, your home, your documents, your stuff, it's all supposed to be secure from the government just barging in. You can think of it like a constitutional wall built around your private life. And that's the real question, isn't it? It's one thing to have a right written down on paper, but how does that wall hold up in the real world? What happens when the government decides it has a good reason to try and get through it? To really get why the framers built this wall in the first place, we have to understand the problem they were desperate to solve. And that problem started with the unchecked power of a king, an ocean away. You've probably heard this phrase before, right? Well, it's not just a saying. It comes from a real English court case way back in 1604. It meant your home was your fortress. But for the American colonists, they learned a hard lesson. The king had a key to every castle. And this was that key, the general warrant. Honestly, it was a terrifyingly powerful tool. Think of it like a blank check for a government intrusion. It didn't have to name a person, it didn't have to specify a crime, it just gave officials the power to search whatever and whoever they wanted. You can imagine why the colonists absolutely hated this. So as you can see, this fight for privacy wasn't an overnight thing. It was a long haul. It took almost 200 years to go from that initial castle idea in England to becoming a core, written down right in the American Constitution. A right specifically designed to destroy the idea of general warrants forever. Okay, so the founders knew they needed a solution. They designed a new lock, not just a vague idea, but a specific, powerful protection written directly into the Constitution itself, one that was meant to be stronger than any king's key. So let's break this down. The amendment really has two parts that work together. First, there's the reasonableness clause, which is this big, broad ban on any unreasonable searches. Then you have the warrant clause, and this is where it gets super specific. It says if the government wants a warrant, they need probable cause, and, this is key, they have to describe the exact place to be searched and the specific things to be seized. It's the complete opposite of those old, vague general warrants. Now, probable cause is absolutely crucial here. This isn't just a police officer's hunch or a weird feeling. No way. It's a real legal standard. It means you have to show a judge actual, reliable facts that would lead a reasonable person to believe a crime has been committed. It's like you have to have enough puzzle pieces to actually see the picture of the crime before you get permission to go into someone's house and look for more. But here's the thing. A rule written for houses and paper documents in 1791 was about to collide with technologies the founders couldn't even have begun to imagine. And ever since, the courts have been playing a constant game of catch-up, trying to apply these old words to a brand new world. And the first big test? The car. Suddenly, there's this machine that's a total game changer. It's not a house, it's mobile. Any evidence inside it could just be driven away. So in 1925, the Supreme Court basically had to adapt. They created what's called the automobile exception. Their logic was pretty straightforward. A car can be gone in minutes, so it's often not practical for police to go get a warrant. This was a huge deal. It was the first major time the Fourth Amendment was bent to fit a new technology. Then came an even bigger problem. What happens when the government can listen to your private conversations without ever physically kicking in the door to your castle? This right here, this was a landmark shift. In 1967, in a case called Katz, the court ruled that putting a bug on a public phone booth required a warrant. Their reasoning was revolutionary, and it gave us this famous line: "The Fourth Amendment protects people, not places." The idea is, if you try to keep something private, you have a reasonable expectation of privacy, and the Constitution protects that. Okay, so we've got all these rules, but a rule isn't worth much if there's no penalty for breaking it, right? What gives the Fourth Amendment its teeth? What stops police from just ignoring it? And this is the answer. It's called the Exclusionary Rule, and it is a very big deal. Thanks to Mapp v. Ohio, if the police conduct an illegal search, any evidence they find gets thrown out of court. It's gone. People call it the fruit of the poisonous tree. If the search was illegal or poisonous, then the evidence, the fruit, is tainted too. It means the government can't benefit from breaking the law. Which brings us all the way to today. Because now, the battleground for the Fourth Amendment isn't just physical space. It's digital space. Our phones, our cars, our data floating in the cloud. So is your data your new castle?
A perfect modern example is GPS tracking. In 2012, the Supreme Court looked at a case where the police secretly attached a GPS tracker to a car and monitored it 24/7 for a month. The court said, hold on a minute, that is a search. They recognized that this kind of long-term, high-tech surveillance is a serious intrusion into someone's privacy.
And GPS tracking is really just the beginning. I mean, look at this list. We're talking about thermal imagers that can see heat through the walls of your home, drones flying overhead, everything in our email and cloud storage, our social media history, even automated license plate readers tracking our movements. All of these technologies are pushing the boundaries of what persons, houses, papers, and effects even means anymore. And this leaves us with one final huge question to think about. The framers gave us a lock to protect our physical castles. But in our age of big data and constant connection, where our digital lives are everywhere, what parts of our lives are truly secure anymore? Where do we draw the line? That's the question the courts, and really all of us, are trying to answer right now.